and welcome to the newest episode of the Thought Leader Thursday. My name is Suzanne Castle. This is 10 minutes of really high-level thinking with an amazing person who, you know what, is doing really cool things in the world in unusual and, of course, amazing ways. And I am thrilled beyond to welcome the incredible artist, Karyn Thurston Gilmore now, because she just got married. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but let me plug this amazing artist, poet, wonder of a woman that she is. You see, here's the deal about her. She's a freelance copywriter, and that's pretty great because words are definitely her currency, and the pictures that she paints with them are amazing. But she's also the co-host of the Heathen podcast. She has a really cool art project called Story in Tune. She's making films. She's helping homeschool. She does all these really neat things under her brand Girl of Cardigan, and I cannot wait for you to see these amazing tidbits that draw her together and make her the amazing person that she is. And so she is shamelessly this Californian poet who began her public career with an essay, of all things, called The 10 True Things About the First Year of Parenthood, and it really caught on. It was this thrilling piece of wordsmithing that allowed people to really engage differently with what it meant about a parent and what it means to be a supportive parent and have parental supports. Now, what has followed is things like bios for really important people in the world and people who just like, my bio is kind of yucky and I'd like to zhuzh it up a little bit. Karyn is the mistress of all of that. She's done it for thought leaders around the world. She has a handful of poetry books, which I know we're going to talk about because she's a new one that just dropped. She, of course, is this amazing spiritual well-being of a woman. She's a lyricist. She does really neat, fine work with musicians and songwriting legends alike. And you know what? When I asked her to tell me a little bit about herself, she said that she's a wholehearted believer in the power of words to reflect, inspire, connect, heal, and reclaim. Welcome, Karyn. I'm glad you said yes to be here.
I'm now wholly convinced that I just want to follow you around all of the time so that you can introduce me to everyone. And that's it. That's all I need. That's my whole life.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. You are easy to introduce. You do such, you have your hands in lots of different cookie jars.
A few, yeah.
Yes. And everything that you're doing is very inspirational. It's very uplifting. It really elevates the self to understand better what's going on in the world, the internal dialogue that we have inside of us. And I know you said I could ask you anything. For those of you watching, I asked, there's some certain things to talk about. She's like, no limits, no secrets. Ask me anything.
Go ahead.
But I really and truly, as someone who has purchased your poetry before, I would love for you to talk about what hasn't been lost, because it just came out about 6 weeks or so ago, and it's available now. And I bet you have one right next to you, don't you?
I do. Look at that.
Oh, can we see? Look at that. Yay! So tell us a little bit about your poetry and specifically this collection.
Yeah. So, I've been writing, I think the first time I wrote a poem of note, I was 10. So I've been writing poetry as long as I can remember. And this is the first time I've self-published a lot. This is the first time that I put together a full-length poetry collection that's like in a book that feels real, which talk about this is a grown-up moment for me. I'm 38 years old and I was like, I deserve a real book, and it has a hardcover and it feels legit and real, and I'm so excited about it. And it was such a beautiful, validating thing to get it in the mail and be like, look, that's right. I am an adult human being. So it's been really lovely. What hasn't been lost is a collection of poems from inside of quarantine 2020. So
fabulous.
I write a lot. I write like breathing. I write for work. I write for not work. I write for all the things. And this one for me was just everything that poured out in those first few months that we were here. Everything I write is a love letter, either to myself, I'm mothering myself, or to my own mother, or to my daughter, or just to you, whoever you is at the moment. So for me, these are the love letters that kind of came out of that time. And my hope is just that it is hopeful, that it feels like a friend, feels like a companion in all of this mayhem to people. So I'm proud of it. I'm excited it exists in the world.
I love that so much. I have heard, I talked a couple of episodes ago, there was a screenwriter from Hollywood, and one of the thoughts that he shared was how there's so many people that are really focused on making pandemic movies.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, I'm really interested in life after pandemic,
Yeah.
and how we're going to continue to show up for ourselves and humans afterwards. Yep. We're not going to always want to be talking about this. So I love that you've put something out there that I love the phrase, it's a love letter.
Yeah.
In the middle of the pandemic, because as terrible and horrible as it is to be in the middle of this mess, there are hopeful and amazing, life-giving, life-altering ways that people are showing up for each other. And your poetry, if you, everyone, you need to follow her. Check out the comments below, and you can find all those ways. Every day she drops a little nugget on Instagram, and I mean, 5 words, and I'm stunned, and I stop in my tracks. You just have this magical way about you of saying everything that needs to be said, and yet making me feel better when I read it, and all of your work is really centered, I think, I don't know if you're intentional about that, but I feel like so much of your work is about marking what's happening, but from kind of this cosmic understanding of the circle of life and our place in it. And it's truly a joy to watch you. I can't wait to get a copy of the book. Yay. And it's just exciting. It's really, really exciting. One of the ways that you connect people is through your podcast. Mm-hmm. And I love the name. So you got Heathen Podcast and the Heathen Happy Hour, and you do these really fun ways to just think about everything differently. And I would love for you to tell people how that got birthed, how it's going, what you're looking forward to now that we're in 2021.
Yep, I love it. Heathen is one of my absolute favorite projects I've ever been invited into. So Heathen was my co-host Matthew's baby, and it started as a joke. Heathen is what his mom called anybody who didn't quite fit into her idea of what like a good Christian was. Mm-hmm. So we use Heathen tongue in cheek. We're all worship leaders, at our progressive Christian church. So it is kind of a funny, we get people in, they're like, wait a second, what's going on here? And we're like, well, it all belongs. It's great. But he started Heathen as a way of telling his story of growing up queer in a conservative Christian environment, and just being able to share his deconstruction story and letting other people come with their questions and their we've been collecting all of the faith misfits for a while, and just anybody who doesn't quite fit where they were planted or has outgrown where they used to be, and there's that huge fear, right, that comes up with that.
Absolutely.
And what's on the other side of this? And it has been one of the absolute just best things. I don't have a better word than best. It has been the best thing in my life to be able to be the person who gets to sort of doula people through that phase of their life.
I love that image.
And to be a deconstruction doula, and to just be like, hi, we're on the other side. We have cookies, and it's not that scary. And so that's the podcast. And then Heathen Happy Hour was just our response to being shut down. So Matthew and Ben, who there will be 4 hosts of Heathen this next season. So that's 3 out of 4. We all live in the same house, and we're all musicians. So we just started doing these ridiculous cover shows every Thursday night when we got locked down, where we were learning 15, 20 cover songs every week and letting people request them and going live. And like everything else, it just sort of became its own little community. We've got the same people who show up every week, new people come in every week, and we just sing and laugh and cry, and it's goofy and healing. And it has given us a way to anchor, I think, our weeks this last year in a way that's been really, really lovely. So, you never know. You never know what it is that's going to make people feel connected. And I love that about the world. And I love that we were like, well, we've got a podcast about deconstruction. Let's start a cover band. And that's been the thing that's been beautiful. We've learned over 400 cover songs.
It's incredible.
So it's wild. I don't even know what to do with that. I guess we can book cover gigs now, but when the world opens up again, we'll be like, well, okay, that's what we can do. But it's a lot of fun. So everybody's always invited to that. And it is absolutely come as you are, wherever you are, however you're coming in, sad, angry, joyful. It's all welcome.
Well, as someone who has dropped into several of those, I have to say I love marking time on Thursdays with that event. And I can kick back. I put it up on my big screen TV, so I feel like I've got a concert
Love it.
in my room. It's not just on the teeny tiny old laptop anymore. And it's just fun. And you're right. I do think it has been an incredible journey to watch when I am able to be there and watch the feed, watch the live comments, and people are like, hey, oh my gosh, you're here tonight. And supporting each other, and just the conversations are so, the music is amazing and it's important. Also, the conversations that are happening are also important. And your team has really facilitated that in really holy, beautiful ways. There's people all over the world that tune into that. And so you should feel very proud of what you've done.
Thanks.
And how you've shown up in that space. So, 2020 can, it can not be remembered as far as I'm concerned. It was a rough year for a lot.
Wipe it. It's gone.
Erase, And, but you've got some interesting partnerships that are happening in 2021. And I don't know how much you want to reveal. I know a little bit and I'm so excited. But if you could drop in a little bit about maybe what we should be paying attention to, I would love that.
Of course, I'd love to. Well, I think that I've got two partnerships that I would say I'm most excited about in 2021. One is the one we just made official, which is me and Ben and our Story and Tune land. So that we have sort of tentatively launched, and we really go in with a couple of big gigs that we've got coming up this next year to our custom songwriting. Ben and I have written gazillions of songs together since we got together. That's just a thing that we naturally sort of fit together doing. So we've got Story and Tune, which is the combination of us, and we get to write bespoke songs for people. And so that I'm just stoked about seeing where that'll go. And that's fun. It's another way, like the bios, like the poetry. It's just another way that we get to make people feel seen, right? Which is really, if there's one thing that I think we're trying to do all of the time, it's help people feel seen. So it's one of my favorite ways to get to do that. And Ben, he's brilliant, so it's easy. It's nice. I just get to be like, here's words. And he's like, and then also I'm part of a project called the Noir 2020 Experience, which is this beautiful, beautiful collaboration that is focused on elevating, amplifying, and sharing the Black experience, which looks like I'm an odd person to be involved in this, but I've gotten to come in and partner in ways that I can't totally reveal yet, which is really, really, really fun.
Exciting.
But all I can do is encourage people. There's an Instagram. There are some videos that have already come out from, it's spearheaded by an amazing, amazing poet friend of mine, Azure Antoinette, and Nathaniel Hunt, who is a choreographer from New York. And the two of them are running this thing, and it is beautiful. So follow along with what they're doing and see if I show up sometime in the next year.
And I know that you will. Okay, so it's been a hot second. I mean, we obviously, everybody can see, I've got a small little tree and my 'tis the season to sparkle sign, and you've got your tree. Yes. So we are in the middle of Decembering and all the adventing things that we do in December. This isn't coming out until February. You just got married, so at this point you will have been married about 8 weeks or so when this airs. And I was lucky enough to watch via the Zoom-tastic feed your service, which was this gorgeous Celtic hand fasting, just brilliantly done moment where you invited everyone in. So talk to me a little bit about the Brilliant Ben partnership and what it means to be in this phase in your life.
Ooh, gosh, how much time do we have? 10 minutes? Wow.
A tidbit. You have a tidbit, Karyn.
It's interesting Ben and I met, 2 years ago. So it's a quote unquote later in life partnership, which I find funny. I'm like, well, we're not late in life yet, are we? Yeah. But, both of us have been married before. Both of us have been in relationship before. And both of us had a lot of growing up to do and a lot of deconstruction work, a lot of reconstruction work, a lot of becoming people before we even met each other. And we've still been in the thick of becoming people together, which I think has been a really beautiful experience for me. We didn't really get an opportunity to have much of a honeymoon phase in our relationship. We sort of got together. It was long distance, and then he moved here, and then there was a pandemic, Right. So it's been, we have been in the thick of doing the work from the beginning, and it's been absolutely beautiful to trust a relationship because it has just been in the thick of things from the start. We've just had every obstacle thrown at us, and we've gotten to work together. And so I think that the fact that we get to work together, that we get to do art together, that we get to have these sort of two tandem modes of our relationship, where it's us as a couple and then us as storytellers in the world doing the thing that we do, it gives us such a beautiful ability to jump in between those two things and to flex between them. And when this one is stressful, we can kind of go over here to this one and vice versa. So yeah, we got to finish line number one, which was to get to wedding day, which we did despite the considerable odds of 2020. But of course,
Yes.
finish line number one is the starting point of another race. So he's Australian, so we've got all of his immigration stuff ahead of us, and that'll be good fun. And hopefully, we'll get to write the whole thing. We'll have an immigration album when we're done.
There you go.
And it'll be beautiful. Yeah. So I don't know. He's pretty great. So I have zero complaints at this point. But we've only been married at recording a week and a half. So
there you go.
I'll pop into the comments when you air this, and I'll let you know how it's really going.
There you go. I would love that. That would be great. That would be so great. Okay, so if people wanted to check out more about all of your amazingness, beautiful and phenomenal work, we're going to drop in some comments below. Is there a certain way, though? Can you hold up the book again?
Yes,
and if you want to just directly get the book,
this is the book.
Follow their poetry. So how would we do that?
The easiest way to do anything with me is just go to KarynThurston.com, because I needed an umbrella, so I built myself an umbrella, and every little satellite project that exists comes out from there. So
love it.
Just my name, KarynThurston.com will get you the books. It'll get you to the Instagram poetry. It will get you to Story and Tune, to the bespoke songwriting. It will get you to the Heathen podcast, so you can go back and listen to all of the deconstruction stories and come to the happy hour. Everything exists there, and any new projects that we're doing will show up there too.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Thank you. You helped me birth new words about my own self into being, and I am forever grateful for that. And thank you for being a glimmer of love and light in my world, as you are in so many. So
it is my absolute pleasure. And thank you for being just the constant beacon of encouragement and joy that you are.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, we'll check you out on the next Thought Leader Thursday. Take care. Bye.